Hey, it's Jenny here. I'm going to show you how to make this adjustable children's fitted face mask with the Mimi G face mask pattern. It has a nose wire, it has stretchy ties with an adjustable bead, and then it's got a filter pocket here. So to make this mask, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric for the front of your mask and 2 pieces for the back of your mask, so it'll look like this. You're going to put your fabric pieces right sides together. Okay, so here's for the front of my mask, and I've put them right sides together. Then you're going to sew along the outside edge for each of these. So I've already done that, sewn along the outside edge. So along the outside edge of this one I used a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you want it to nest a little bit better, you can sew it just a little bit more than 1/4 inch, okay? And then you can also clip off some of that excess on the sides with pinking shears, or you can cut notches. Okay. After you do that, we're going to sew our pieces together, but in order to make a nice edge here for our pocket, we want to finish the edge of our back pieces. So to do that, we're going to fold it over, fold it the edge over like this, 1/4 inch, another 1/4 inch, press, okay, and then we want to make sure that our sides are the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on top, flip it over, and then I can make sure that I fold this side over the same amount, so that I'm going to press that side. Okay, so now that our sides are pressed, we're going to just sew along the side. So I'm using a different color threads to make it easier to see, but if I was doing this, I'd probably use like a light blue. Okay, so that one. Now sew this side down. And now I can nest these together. So I'm going to take this one, put this one on top, and I'm going to line up my seams, and then I'm going to put them on opposite sides like that. Now before I sew along the top and the bottom of my mask, I'm going to press it so that I can make sure that I get my seams really up in there. Okay, so I'm going to take it to my iron. See that? Okay, and then you're just going to press up there to kind of press those seams open. Press the other end. And it also makes it easier when you go to sew it, that it's nice and pressed. Okay, so now I can sew along the top and bottom of my mask. And we're just not going to sew the sides here. Make sure you back stitch. Okay, so now we're going to repeat on the other side. Threads everywhere. So make sure again that your seams are lined up, and you just want to make sure that your seams are facing the same direction as they were at the top. Okay, so now the seams are facing the same direction. And now I'm going to just sew along the bottom of my mask here. Okay, I'm going to clip the top. My kids are home, so now it's about to get really noisy. Oh, here they come, victorious. I'm recording a little how-to video here. Okay, so now you're going to flip this right side out. And then you're going to give it a nice, good press. When you press it, because we're going to be making our tie casing over here, you want to press these sides straight. Okay, I'm going to press this one straight, and you're going to press this one straight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just fold over the end and press that. That allows us to have that nice straight casing. So I'm going to pause it while I press it. Okay, so now that I have my mask pressed, I'm just going to top stitch along the whole thing. So I'm going to be top stitching along the outside edge of my tie casing over here so that it will just be nice and neat. You don't want to stitch over this because you want to be able to leave that pocket open. And then when you top stitch, you're going to stay close to the edges of your mask. Go down the other side, the other flap. Okay, so we're almost done. Now we just need to make a casing for our nose wire. So I'm going to lay my nose wire out so I can see how big to make my casing. Now you can put your nose wire up there and sew your casing while your wire is in it, but that can be kind of challenging. So what I've started doing is marking where my nose casing is going to go. So mark on either side of my wire. So my casing is going to go from there to about there. And then, you know, based on how wide I want my casing to be, it's going to be about like that. And then I can just follow along the lines, except you're going to want to leave one of those ends open so that you can put your wire through. So I'm going to just sew along this side and the bottom edge, put my wire in, and then close it back up. Okay, back stitch, don't want your wire poking through there. And then I'm just going to go up and a curve. Okay, so now that I have my nose casing in, now remember we had our seams that were in there that were nested opposite, so those can get kind of tricky to get your nose wire through there. So I like to just kind of press those seams open, just put something in there, a pencil or a chopstick, whatever you have. And then it makes it a little easier when you go to slide your wire in there. So now my wire slides in there a lot easier, okay? And then push my wire all the way in, and then I'm going to close it up. Now, I know there's some debate about making the wire replaceable, so I haven't done that. I've closed my wire up for kids. Might be something you want to leave open if you're doing it for adults, but for kids, I want to close it up, okay? And again, I back stitch there a couple of times to make sure that that wire's not going anywhere. The last thing I'm going to do is finish my ties, and I'm going to take my ties here and I'm going to lay them down on my mask with the loop. You can see that, with the loop going around the bottom. And then I'm going to fold my ties over, one, and then I'm going to stitch along there. And I'm going to just stitch parallel to my pocket. I'm not going to sew over the pocket because I want that pocket to be able to be open for adding an additional layer. So now that the recommendation is that there's 3 layers for a mask, for the children's masks, I am still doing 2 layers. One, because I think it's easier for them to breathe, especially if they're going to be wearing this, having to wear these all day. But there is also that option of putting in a 3rd layer, even if you decide to just put a paper towel in there, whatever you have. We're also making some washable, reusable filters as well. Okay, then I'm going to lay my other tie down, fold it over, and now I'm going to sew that casing closed. It's right along parallel to my pocket. Okay, now my mask is done. I just have to finish the tie off. So there's a couple different ways you can do your ties. You can put the bead in, put your ties in from opposite directions, or you can put your ties in the same direction. So here on this one, the ties went through the bead in the same direction, and then you can pull it to adjust it. On this other one here, I put the bead, I put the ties in opposite directions, and it adjusts like this. So just 2 ways of doing your beads. So Amy Ballinger made us these little tools for getting your beads through. I know it can be a challenge. These tools make it a lot easier, but if you are struggling, one thing that you can do is nest your ties in each other like that. Cut it at a point there. Okay, so now you have a point. You can put your bead underneath. Okay, and then I'm just going to press, use my tool and press those ties through, and then they're through at the same time. And then I can just tie a knot at the end of each tie. And there it is. It's adjustable. It's got a filter pocket. It's got a nose wire. It's perfect for kids. My kids have really enjoyed this style of mask, and I've had to remind them that it's okay, you can take your mask off, because they just don't even realize they have it on. So it's all good signs. Take care.